Now, there's always some decks that I really love and I wish they were really better, and this is one deck I really wish they would give support to in the future. Even though that it just got support back in 2021, I believe, we are going to be talking about the lovely deck of Aliens. Now, Aliens have been one of my favorite decks ever since I was little because I pulled a Ultimate Rare Alien Warrior back in the day. And it was, I believe, one of my first Ultimate Rares I've ever had, so it is a little special to my heart. I've always loved the aesthetic of all the alien monsters, and one of my favorite has to be Alien Shock Trooper, and when I saw that Alien Shock Trooper was getting a Link monster in Alien Shock Trooper M Frame, I was super excited. But this video is going to be talking about a few of these alien monsters and what I think that the deck could be in the future. Now, looking at aliens, they're all based around the A counters, and A counters are similar to things like spell counters or just normal counters that you put on cards for effects. Now, A counters, they definitely help with the deck because each of the monsters have their own specific effect around them, being like Cosmic Horror. This one, once per turn, you can place an A counter on a monster on your opponent's side of the field, and if a monster with an A counter battles an alien monster, it loses 300 attack and defense for each A counter during the damage calculation only. So essentially, if you load up your opponent's stuff with A counters, the attacks drop immensely. You have stuff like Alien Overlord, you can remove 2 A counters from anywhere on the field, special summon this card from your hand. You can only control 1, but that's absolutely fine. And once per turn, you can just place an A counter on each face-up monster your opponent controls. So this make it just easily drop 300 on everything during battle, which I really do like. One of the recent additions was Alien Buster. This is, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can target one face-up monster on the field and directly place 2 A counters on it. During the main phase, except the turn that this was sent there, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one card with an A counter, an A counter, just destroy it straight up. So this is one thing I really like about the deck because it interacts with what you give your opponent. Other cards that are slightly useful in the deck are things like Alien Telepath. Once per turn, you can remove 1 A counter from an opponent's monster to destroy a spell trap card on the field, which is very nice, and I do like that all of them do have that stat loss for your opponents outside of Alien Hunter, because if this card destroys a monster with an A counter by battle, it can attack once again in a row. So kind of like a BLS with 1600 attack, but there's quite a bit of cards that just stat drop, which I'm fine with. Like Alien Warrior, when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you just place 2 A counters on the monster that destroyed it, so that can come in handy sometimes. Other type of useful alien cards outside of Hypno, because Hypno is a Gemini and Geminis do tend to lack quite a lot. You have Alien Kid, which is place an A counter on all special monsters to your opponent's side of the field. So this just helps out so much, just getting all those A counters on the board. Then you also have Alien Dog. When you normal an alien monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. When you do, place 2 A counters on face-up monsters your opponent controls. So again, that aspect of getting more A counters on the board. Alien Mars is just there as a skill drain, I would say, because it's just all effect monsters with A counters are negated except Alien Mars. So essentially, you can just have this out on the board and it's a skill drain for opponent cards, which is very good. Color mechanics does not matter. This card does not matter in this deck at all. Alien Gray was a cute little card. You flip, if it gets flipped, place an A counter on one face-up monster on your opponent's side of the field. And also, after this card has been flipped face-up, when it is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you draw 1. So just to draw and place an A counter, but one of the best alien monsters in the whole entire deck is Alien Ammonite. When it's normal summoned, you can target 1 level 4 or lower alien monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but destroy it during the end phase. Now, I wish this was on normal or special summon, because that would make the card way more better than it is. And I really hope that the deck gets another tuner, because this is the only tuner in this whole entire deck. Because they do have a Synchro monster, which is actually very good. But honestly, this being the only actual tuner kind of sucks. I wish there was a extender tuner that if you control an alien monster, or if there's a monster on the field that has an A counter on it, you can special summon it by removing that A counter. So I really wish that there was something like that in the deck that could possibly help with summoning out more monsters along with summoning out alien dog. So like you normal summon alien, special summon dog from your hand, place 2 counters on opponent's monster, and then summon out the tuner, removing the lovely A counter. So now you have a tuner and a level 3 and a level 4. And I really wish the tuner would be like a level 1, because most of the alien monsters are level 4, but I would suffice a level 2 because there is alien dog that you can combo with, but level 1 would be more of a better option. After that, we have alien psychic. This card changes defense position when it's normal or flip summoned, so it's just another useless card in the deck, because this deck has so many useless cards, being alien psychic, infiltrator. You even have alien hypno being useless. You have flying saucer Masuki, because when this card face up on the field, you could select and add an alien card from your deck to your hand instead of your normal draw phase. This card just doesn't even matter. Alien skull. You contribute 1 face up level 3 or lower monster on your opponent's side of the field to special summon a card to your opponent's side of the field. So you just special summon this card to your side. This is just an A counter for level 3 or a kaiju for level 3 or lower monsters. If you special summon this monster this way, place 1 A counter on this card. Also, you cannot normal summon or set the same turn. So it's a Volcanic Queen, kind of. If there is a deck that's just based around level 1 to level 3 monsters. So there's that for you. You have Alien Mother. If this card destroys the opponent's monster with A counters and sends it to the graveyard, special summon the destroyed monster to your field at the end of the battle phase. So this is just a Goyo Guardian, and when this card is removed from the field, all monsters that are special summoned by this card are destroyed. So this is just a Goyo Guardian before Goyo Guardian, which is pretty good, but it doesn't come up that much. Now, let's get into the spells and traps before we get into the extra deck cards. We have Corruption Cell A. You place a counter on 1 face-up monster on your opponent's side of the field. This is just a blank card, honestly, that no one really runs, because the fact it's activate, here's an A counter, and does nothing else. Next up, we have Mysterious Triangle. It just destroys 1 monster with an A counter. Then you can special summon 1 level 4 alien monster from the deck, but you destroy it at the end phase. But that's fine, because you just give them an A counter for something from like Alien Dog or Alien Kid. You destroy 1 monster, special summon a level 4 alien. Cool. And you can, this is not hard once per turn, so this card can be easily abusable in the right circumstances, and I do wish this card was searchable in some way. Like a card that states add 1 card that mentions A counter to your from your deck to your hand, as that would open this deck wide open, being able to search so many other cards. I think you search it? No, you don't. Wait. I think this guy searches them. But we'll get to that later. Then we have ASL Scatterburst. Select 1 face-up alien monster you control, destroy it, and distribute new A counters equal to its level among your opponent's face-up monsters. So it's just spreads out the A counters to however many levels there were. You have a newer card being ASL Recombination Device. Targets a face-up monster on the field. You set an alien, so it's a Foolish Burial. And if you do, you place A counters on that monster equal to the level. So Foolish Burial for A counters is absolutely fine. You're most likely sending Alien Buster to the grave. So I'm honestly okay with that. Then it is during your main phase, except the turn that this card was sent to the graveyard. Banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 alien monster from your deck to your hand. This card overall is a very useful card because it gets certain cards that you need to the graveyard, along with the fact of getting A counters on the field so you can fuel all your cards that need the A counters. You have Code A Ancient Ruins, one of the best cards in the deck. Each time a alien monster is destroyed, you can place one A counter on this card. Once per turn, you can remove 2 A counters from anywhere on the field to special summon 1 alien monster from your graveyard. Now, this card could have been like Gateway of the Six, but they didn't go that way, which is kind of sad, if you ask me. If it was just like Gateway, this card would be absolutely broken, but in a sense, aliens, they are a mediocre archetype at the end of the day. And then we have a random field spell. If your opponent's monster battles an alien monster you control, the monster loses 300 attack and defense during the damage calculation only. This card doesn't do anything in the whole deck. Alien Brain is just there because if a reptile is destroyed by battle with an opponent's attacking monster, you take control of that monster, and if you do, becomes a reptile. This isn't really an alien card at all. It's just in the name of alien. We have Crop Circles. I really loved this card when I was a kid, but it sends any number of monsters from your side of the field to the graveyard to activate this card. Select from your deck one alien monster whose level is equal to the total levels of the sent monsters and special summon it. If you fail to find a monster to special summon, you take 2,000. I really like it because the art. The effects is just terrible. But we're getting into the more interesting alien cards now, being Planet Pollutant Virus. You tribute an alien, destroy all face-up monsters without A counters from your opponent controls. Until the end of your opponent's third turn after this card's activation, place 1 A counter on each monster they summon. So essentially, this goes hand in hand with a lot of your cards, like your A-Cell, Recombination, Scatterburst, and even Mysterious Triangle, because you could just easily get A counters built up, and if you need to sacrifice a alien with Scatterburst, it could work. Then we have Interdimensional Warp. It selects a monster you control and a monster with A counters your opponent. It's just creature swap, but more text. We have Cell Explosion Virus. Activate only when an opponent's monster with an A counters declared attack. Destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. So this is a little defense mechanism, but it is there, and I would rather run Planet Pollutant over it. We have Orbital Bombardment. It just sends an alien monster from your side of the field to the graveyard to destroy a spell or trap card on the field. Cool, we have other cards that do that, like Telepathy. We have Mass Hypnosis. You can only activate it when you control an alien, and you take control up to 3 monsters your opponent controls that has A counters on them. And this card is destroyed during the end phase of the turn it was activated. So essentially, you spread out your A counters, you flip this up, you take control of everything your opponent has, and you could either OTK or you could just link away. And then we have Brainwash Beam, which is select one monster with at least 1 A counter on your opponent's field, take control of it during the end phase, remove 1 A counter from that monster. If all A counters are removed from that monster or that monster is destroyed, destroy this card. So this just takes control of whatever you can, but Mass Hypnosis, in my opinion, is a little better, but this is being a selected target, which I do like more. And now we're getting into the extra deck cards, which in my opinion, all of them are vital for the deck, because we have Cosmic Fortress Golgar. There were loops with this card because it takes Alien Ammonite and 1 or more non-tuner alien monsters. Once per turn, you can select any number of face-up spell or trap cards, return those cards to the owner's hand, and distribute new A counters among monsters on the field to the number of cards returned. And then you also have once per turn, remove 2 A counters from anywhere on the field, destroy 1 card your opponent controls. So this plus Code A Ancient Ruins, very nice combo overall. Then we have Cosmic Pincer Zilor, or Cosmic Slicer Zerlor, or Zerol. It is a light Link 3 reptile, points up, left, up, bottom left, bottom right, Monsters your opponent controls with A counters are changed to defense. Also, neither player can activate their effects. So this is a Bagooska when your opponent has A counters on their monsters. Pretty good. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this is Link Summon, you add one card from your deck to your hand that has an effect that places A counters. So this card searches cards that places. This doesn't place, sadly. So I wish this was more searchable. So it just searches out Scatterburst, Recombination, Code A, Planet Pollutant, and yeah, just some of the other cards that just say, put an A counter on this card, please. And you can remove 2 A counters from anywhere on the field immediately after this effect resolves. Normal summon 1 reptile, so being able to have an additional normal summon is cool, but in aliens you need more than 1 normal summon. And finally we have Alien Shock Trooper Enfring. 2 reptile monsters, bottom left, bottom right, good link arrows. Quick effect, discard 1 monster, place A counters equal to its original level on face-up monsters on the field, distributed as you wish. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you could special summon non-link reptile monsters with different names from your graveyard up to the number of monsters your opponent controls with A counters. And you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. This card is more for filling your graveyard with alien monsters that you don't need. So let's say you have this plus a Shock Trooper and an Ammonite. You can easily normal out the Ammonite, summon out the Shock Trooper, and go into Cosmic Fortress. And you gave your opponent A counters, so you could just take 2 off the board to destroy a card your opponent controls. So the deck functions very well, but in my opinion, the deck definitely needs more to be considered viable. Right now, it's just at a rogue status because right now they're running things like the Reptilian cards, like Reptilian Basky, Lamia, and even Reptilian Medusa and Hydra, because they don't really have much going for them since they only run like 6 of their cards, which is very sad. And as an advocate for the alien deck, I do wish this deck would get more support. That is very good because there's about 30-ish cards that they have, but I would say at least 10 of them total are playable. But I want to know what you guys think about aliens. I didn't mean to go into describe or talking about every single one. I just wanted to talk about a few of them, but this is what happens when you have a mind like mine going at 500 miles per hour. But anyways, I've been Bolt Spider. I hope you guys did enjoy, and see you guys in the next video.